Welcome everyone to the game between Divya Deshmukh, who's in great spirits before her game against Aleksander Indjic in the 10th round of the FIDE Grand Swiss 2025. Divya has had a wonderful tournament until now. She is taking on an opponent who's rated 2650 and also is one of the tallest grandmasters in the world of chess. Indjic from Serbia, and until now, Divya has had 2 wins in this tournament and 4 draws, and she has had 3 losses. The last one against Sanan Sugirov happened in a very unfortunate way where Divya was very close to a draw and then blundered on the 60th move to lose the game. This time she has the black pieces and will be looking to fight. And this is what has been amazing about Divya. She's come to every game with a fighting approach. She wants to just play and give a good fight to her opponent. Her opponent right now, Aleksander Indjic, has had a couple of wins in this tournament against Max Warmerdam, Jakhongir Vakidov, but has also lost to Ihor Samunenkov, Evgeny Nayer, and Ivan Zemlyansky. So the game is about to begin. A handshake from the players, and let's see how it goes. Indjic with the white pieces opens the game with pawn to d4. And Divya, now let's see what her choice is going to be. She goes pawn to d5, just maintaining the symmetry there. c4 played. And now pawn to e6. The queen's gambit declined. White goes knight to c3. And pawn to c5, the Tarash opening. Pawn takes pawn. And Divya playing this very direct system. E takes d5. And this is actually a very good choice when you want to go for something very direct and that has a lot of theory in it. Now the main move here is g3. And Indjic thinks for a bit. And around 10 minutes and comes up with this slightly offbeat move a3. And I think his idea is majorly to get Divya out of her prep, because a3 is not that common. Knight to f6 played here by Divya pretty quickly, actually in couple of minutes. She just sees that a3 is not particularly useful. Let me get my pieces out. And now pawn to g3. She takes on d4. Knight takes d4. And now bishop to c5. Putting pressure on the d4 knight. And Indjic plays bishop e3, a very interesting move, threatening knight takes knight and bishop takes c5. So the bishop drops back to b6. And now bishop to g2. Divya castles and will place her rook on the semi-open e file. White castles here. And pawn to h5 played. The idea of this move is to create some kind of a pressure on this structure, knight a4. And this can become quite interesting because Divya goes knight to g4 here, attacking the bishop on e3. Indjic takes on c6. And b takes c6 taken. And now the Move bishop d4 makes a lot of sense. He goes bishop to c5. And of course the point is, if you take, knight is well placed on c5 square. So rook e8 played with pressure here. Black has played the opening excellently, I must say. And generally in this opening, you will see that these pawns can be potentially weak, but black has pressure on the e2 point. Then this idea of h4 creating play on the king side, rook c1. And Divya goes bishop a6, attacking the pawn on e2. Rook goes to e1, defending the e2 pawn. And the knight jumps into e4, attacking c6, c5. If bishop takes, a takes, and if rook c6, this kind of loses to a double attack here, which is the reason why the pawn is not hanging. So bishop comes to d4 and bishop b5 by Divya. Indjic goes in, knight to c5, and I think more the pieces that come off, the dangerous it could become for black because of these pawns which are potentially weak. She takes on c5, bishop takes c5, and now maybe h4 is a nice move. Divya goes bishop c4, and her idea is to pick up this bishop on c5. Pawn to b3 played by Indjic. Oh, that's a nice move, because after knight c5 he wants to take on c4. So he does take, knight takes c5. B takes c4. And knight jumps into e4. The knight is well placed in the center. Pawn to e3 played. Black goes queen to f6 and putting pressure on the f2 point. And Indjic is ready to trade queens here. I think it's very helpful for him to trade queens. Queen takes queen, taken. And bishop takes on f3. And she goes knight to d2, attacking the bishop here on f3. And if you move the bishop, then c4 is hanging. So bishop takes on h5. Knight takes c4. And the a3 pawn is hanging. Bishop comes back. Now the question is, do you take on e3, a3 or knight e5? Divya comes back, knight e5. And if you play f4, she might want to go to d7 and e3 is weak. So, f4 is played. Wow. Knight to d7. If rook c6, there's rook e3. So bishop comes to f3. Now putting pressure here. And rook to c8. Calmly playing here Divya. And e4 by Indjic. Divya takes. And rook takes e4. So the question is the c6 pawn a weakness or a strength? She takes here. And after bishop takes. Well, if you play c5, there's bishop f5. Oh, she does play c5. What about bishop f5? She's calculated this one as well. That after rook c7, now if takes, rook c5, there's rook d3. Brilliant. Attacking here. So rook d1 played here. Attacking the knight. Knight goes back to f8. Rook to d8. And maybe it's now time to push the pawn. She goes g6 first. Bishop to c2. King comes up to g7. You can see Divya actually playing chess super logically, super free-flowingly. Feels like she's playing like a 2600 player. f5. Takes. Bishop takes on f5. And now knight to e6, attacking the rook. And this is actually very interesting because if you take on e6, fe6, he does take. White does get couple of connected passers now. But on the other hand, the black pawn is also moving quickly down the board. So Divya now, the 40th move is done. She pushes the pawn to c4. And the question is, how should white stop? King e2, c3, king d1, c2, king c1. Maybe there's rook c3 attacking these pawns. And eventually the game should be drawn. She plays king e2. And Divya is coming back to the board, and a draw is offered here by black. And I think Divya thinks for a bit. She takes her time, 14-15 minutes, to make sure that she has no chances to win here, and accepts the draw. And another fantastic result. I think Divya just held her own so confidently against a strong grandmaster like Aleksander Indjic. And I think maybe instead of queen f3, I think they're discussing a bit. Plays queen f3, and she's like, I also missed it. Maybe instead of queen f3, could have taken the pawn on h5. Maybe that's what she was saying. I'm not so sure. f2 was hanging, so not so sure. Maybe bishop e4, d4, queen h5. Ah, that's how. And you could have won. Yeah, oh, it's interesting. And another draw for Divya. She moves on to 4.5 out of 10. A very, very good score for her. She is gaining 18 ELO points from this event. And it's something that more than the rating points, the experience that she takes back with herself, also analyzing with these top players at the end, is definitely going to help her throughout her chess journey. So they'll analyze further back outside in the hall. For now, this is Sagar Shah signing off. Bye bye.
in knight
In
e4?
a3?
Yes.
No, but I was a little bit afraid because I couldn't remember. I usually
Yes, I
play.
couldn't remember it.
Yeah, I usually play this d4, knight e4. Like dc5, d4, knight a4, bishop c5.
Yes.
But I thought, I forgot that there is some crazy rule maybe with knight a4 if you don't take bishop c5. But I couldn't, I don't know if it's that bad or not. Instead of bishop c5, probably wanted to take bishop c5. But then I couldn't remember like knight c5, queen f5 check, bishop b2, queen c5, rook c1. How is that variation with like queen a4 and then ruining on structure? Like somehow like either a3, queen a4, knight e4, and then knight c6, bc6 somewhere. I don't know if it's in that version, or do I go with the b5 first, and b4 first, or I couldn't remember because I thought
Okay,
I played.
this doesn't happen.
Yeah, I played like 2013 that game, and somehow I was able to ruin the black structure. And I had a couple years ago, but
Yeah, I saw this game between before.
but how does
black,
it how does it happen?
So you play rook c1, queen b6,
Yeah.
e3, knight f6.
Knight e6, queen a4. Yeah. But why you cannot take d and queen b? I just have some initiative there for the pawn, like
No,
king
your
3, bishop
opponent
e3,
didn't play
queen
well
b2.
that game. I mean, the opening part it wasn't right. Queen a4, I think you can take b2. I think maybe you can just take queen b2, no? Or
When? No,
Uh,
after rook c6 maybe there is bishop d7 with someone, but I don't know how is it with queen c2 or something. But in general I couldn't remember at all. I was not expecting either some names, so like color step and stuff. This I didn't check at all. At first I would not receive you when I take c.
I think I just forgot. I know at some point you go knight g4 and this h5. I know either it's rook here h5 or it's h5, but maybe rook here is more precise.
But what am I supposed to do? I don't think I played
Yeah,
well.
knight e4 is fine, but yeah, after h5 I think maybe go h3 and then go knight e4.
No, actually that's an improved version of it. Not because I was thinking maybe if I take a bishop d4 instead of bishop c5, but I'm not sure it changes anything.
Take square.
Like after knight g4,
Yeah.
I took knight c6 and then bishop d4. I don't know if it changes anything.
I thought I would just play rook here.
Yeah, it's
Rook
similar
here or
stuff.
some bishop. Also, I was thinking of some h4, but probably not.
No, but for sure black was okay.
Yeah, no, the game I was quite okay.
Yeah.
I miss knight c5 after
Yeah, that was the idea. At first I started thinking about some crazy stuff connected to how could it happen? And somehow at some moment to take like but it was not much, like bishop e4 someone once you jumped and then just some f3, bishop f2, but that's if you included h4.
No, but
h4,
after
g4.
If bishop d4, I would do c5.
Yeah, no, after bishop c4 I think it's pretty okay.
Yeah. No,
And in general,
I played queen f6 and I'm like, oh, I just missed bishop d4. Should be still okay, I can go with some rook d8.
Yeah, no, but at first in Endgame I thought I had some small advantage, but it's actually nothing. Because I thought it's potentially like a pass pawn, like in the center, but...
Maybe bishop e2 instead of
bishop there?
bishop h5.
Yeah, but...
Should we still draw?
But there I thought it's going to be pretty straightforward. We exchange two times, I dump the rooks, you go rook e6, rook c8, or
after
something.
rook c4, what do I do? Because in all the lines I saw, you were getting the rook on d7.
Really?
Yeah.
Like if you go rook c8,
Rook c8 or b1?
rook c7, and then...
And now rook
rook
c5
c8,
and
e4, e5,
yeah.
yeah? Okay, then it's something important. No, that was safer version. No, I thought, but I didn't see the time in time to enter the rook. At the end, I don't know if you continue playing with some strange ending. Like I don't know, like some king of 6.
King f7 is rook c3?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and then some crazy stuff like enter with the king, let's say king e5,
Yeah,
king
I
e4,
thought about
and I
that,
thought it
but
looks.
you just
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
problem.
I was hoping, but maybe I was too general with the bishop e6 and all this stuff. But also I don't know if I had to include
I have
rook
maybe
d8.
rook d7 instead of d6. And then you have to go back to d3, and I think it's a better position.
And my bishop is where?
Fine.
Uh,
When I play
but,
d6.
but, yeah. No, but I don't think I should go rook d8 there because you will have a tempo with 96 later on. Probably I should just try to centralize, give the bishop, let's say, an f5, king f2, g6, and then some.
But then my knight gets out.
Yeah, but I wasn't really sure if I should allow bishop g4 to provoke f5 or not. Because I thought even with
No, I wouldn't go
yeah,
f5 exactly.
because I was thinking at first maybe bishop d3 after g6 to either provoke c4 or if knight e6 bishop c4 and then let's say knight d4 rook b1 and then you don't really have
We're
an entry
already
policy.
doing pretty
But
okay there.
yeah, but for
Will
sure.
you take some knight of 10 and d6?
Yeah, sir.
Knight of 10 and d6?
Yeah, but in general I didn't really evaluate it correctly. I thought maybe it's something small, but not really.
I was actually checking rook d2 instead of king e2 last position.
Rook d2?
Yes.
You mean to stop with the rook? My king is there still.
Bishop is set as well.
Yeah, just. Well, probably it was equal throughout or something. Probably it was equal game throughout the game. Just not much happening
Yeah.
with evaluation. But,
Yeah, okay. For me, this pair was just queen f6, but should
No,
be.
but I also completely forgot about it because I was actually calculating, but for some reason I thought you included h4. And in that variation, like h4, g4, queen f6, queen f3.
Yeah,
And
no,
then-
I was so busy calculating every other stuff, I just missed this simplest one.
So strange.
I was checking rook c2, queen c2.
Okay, but let's say bishop e, d, queen h5, rook b8.
Yeah,
And
I
if,
barely had like 1 minute to think about it before you played, so I was not ready.
Yeah, just,
I don't know,
No, but-
rook b8? Yeah, rook e. Yeah, rook c2.
yeah, but some rook b3, some
Queen
activity.
c5.
You queen c5, rook b8, maybe some. You mean the take on?
Yeah, okay, this looks like this.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, maybe then start rook c2, rook and just to take the lines, one down, get some activity. It shouldn't be any problem. But anyway, of course, I should think about it. It's,
Okay,
Yeah.
see you.